you're a good manager, you care about your employees, you want to retain quality employees, and you care about the environment. So you want to know how it is that your employees commute to and from work presently so that you can craft policy that's optimal around that. I'm going to show you this frequency table that we've put together. You have taken a survey of your 100 employees, and you've come up with some results. I'll quickly walk you through these things. By the way, we have shared a link with you, but it's a view-only link. And for you to get in and toggle with this stuff, you can just go over to File and make a copy. Please do feel free to do that. I'll bring you up to speed really quickly just for the interest of time. We had these categories in our survey of I walk to work, I drive my own car to work, I ride my bike to work, etc. The beginnings of a frequency table with just what was the employee response. We've got the employee number or the response number, and then we've got this employee response. I've color-coded and generated data validation. Quickly on how I did that, I'm heading to column B, and within data, I'm going to go to data validation, just kind of click in and see what we have. And I have the various responses. I ride my bike, I walk, I take public transit, I carpool. And then I have arbitrarily created just some color coding for those so it's quick and easy to sort of reference visually what's going on with whom. Frequency tables help us to understand what it is that we are currently observing. They are very much empirical in that respect, just so long as we have built out our categories or our classes well. Here's what I did, and here's a shortcut. Like, I could go through and I could count up all of the yellow ones, and I could count up all of the green values, et cetera, and then put in with my category, I walk 20, I drive my own car 25. But there are a number of problems with that. First of all, maybe the data set is very large and it would take a lot of effort to count. Second of all, maybe data changes. Maybe data is flowing. A more effective way of doing this, and we haven't shown you this yet, is the COUNTIF function. So if you look up here, what we see is we have response and we have frequency, and it's equals COUNTIF and then parentheses. And what we have is a range, and the range is B2, which is the first survey data entry, down to B101. Let's head on down. B101, it's the final data entry. And it says D2. And D2 is I walk. Basically what's happening, what you're telling Google Sheets, is every time you see I walk in this column of responses, then add it to the count. As it turns out, 20 different times I walk is what comes up. Similarly, B2 to B101, it's the same values, B2 to 101. We get D3, and D3 is I drive my own car. 25 of our 100 respondents said or stated that the primary way in which they commute is to drive their own car, and so on and so forth. I want to show you something quickly, which is kind of nice, is let's look and say I ride my bike is 16 and I carpool is 9. So let's just say that somehow this respondent, this employee comes back to us and says, you know, I thought about it, and when it comes down to it, I actually carpool more than I ride my bike. Well, if I go here and I switch that respondent over from I ride my bike to I carpool, then immediately I ride my bike heads down to 15 while I carpool goes up to 10. This is one of the value adds of working with the COUNTIF function in a spreadsheet. I've said this several times and I'll say it again. The COUNTIF basically works the same whether you're dealing with Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel or Apple Numbers or some other spreadsheet program, but it's a powerful way to build out our frequency tables. In the next section, we'll talk about relative frequency, and we'll get into cumulative relative frequency, and we'll see, hey, what would happen if I wanted to change the range? We got to be a little careful when we change the range, so stay tuned for that.